Putting on record right quick. Broadcast this. Hopefully it'll be worthy of broadcasting. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's get started. Let's have some pens and papers and notepads. Let's get started. Anyone else coming in? Not at this time. Let's go here. And break that down. And oh, no, just kind of went somewhere. Okay. Oh, it's not behaving. Let's do that. Stop. Sorry, everyone. Internet is not behaving. Let's see if it'll behave. Close out some of these things. Yeah. Close all that out. See what happens. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen? Yes?
No, shares off.
Okay, so it's not, doesn't act like it don't want to behave. All right. Let's do it again. See? All right. Loading. Sharing. You can see it. Good. All right. So this week we covered this second to the last of our Torah portion. This is the end of our cycle. And what the Most High wanted to do is to give out a witness to the people about what his intentions are and what he is going to do. And also to give them a background on, several things that we're going to talk about. This word that we learned this week is called ha-azanu. The ha right there is not a definite article, meaning like the, okay? It's not. So it doesn't mean the in this case. What it is that this letter right here and this letter right here in this word ha-azanu, which is reflected right here in this ha and this e right here, is talking about a verb stem called a hifil, okay? A hifil. A hifil is a verb that is something that's causative, something that's caused by someone, okay? And you can do that by someone else doing the action and causing you to hear something. So when Moshe begins this Torah portion off, he talks about ha-azinu, meaning that I need you to azan right here, okay? That word azan has to do with hearing, which has to do with the ear, okay? Or to hear, okay? And so he wanted someone to hear, okay? And that u right there is that, which is reflective right here, is talking about the heavens and the earth, right? So this is who he's talking to. He's giving a witness, okay, which means that a testimony to the heavens and the earth. Okay, he's going to tell them what he is going to do. He's telling them about all the problems that he's had with his children. And he's telling them exactly what, they should expect to come in the future. Okay, because that's what the Creator does. This is the reason why he said, "For I lift up my hand to heaven, the Shamayim, and I swear, as surely as I am alive, forever. If I sharpen my flashing sword and set my hand to judgment, I will render vengeance to my foes, repay those who hate me. Okay. And he's not just talking about those who are the enemies of him, of the nations, but he's actually talking too about all peoples that hate him. Okay. The people that hate him, all right, are the ones who have knowledge about him. Listen to me carefully. The people who hate him are some of the leaders of the nations because they have knowledge about him. The nations do. There's people within the family of Israel that hate Yah. Okay. They hate him. He says this in several places. For the nations to hate him, that means that they understand what he has said. They had access to his writings. They conquered Israel. They destroyed Yehuda. They destroyed Israel. They destroyed the temple. They destroyed the culture. They destroyed the family. They destroyed the heritage. They destroyed the land. They destroyed it all. And those nations, the people of those nations may have, been told or have history or writings about it. And so all of the peoples of these nations don't have a clue. They don't really know, but the leaders do. The leaders know. The leaders of Ishmael, they know. The leaders of Moab, all the enemies that are listed in Psalms 82, they know about Yah. Okay. Adam knows about Yah. That's Jacob's brother. They know. The Ishmaeli, which are the Ishmael's family, they know. The other princes around the nations, they know. The governments around the world, the kings, they know. Okay. Israel, right? They know who he is. And he's going to tell us what he's going to do. He says, I'm going to render, meaning I'm going to pay vengeance to my foes, and I am going to repay those who hate me. And therefore, this is the reason why he raises his hand to the Shamayim, because the Shamayim serves as a witness to the Most High, just like the earth. Yah has witnesses. Okay. And so when you talk about witnesses, what you're talking about are records, where people put records or recordings. This is the reason why I said that the nations know, because they have the records. They know who, they haven't not lost sight of who the people are. They know who the people of Israel are. Okay. Just like they know about the Egyptians and they know about the ancient Mesopotamians and all of those people. And so our Elohim is coming. This is what's mentioned in Tehillim. I'm so sorry about my voice, everyone. Elohim is coming. Okay. And he's not staying silent. With fire devouring ahead of him, a great storm raging around him, he calls to the heavens. Okay. Just kind of giving you an insight about who he's calling to. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth in order to judge his people. Okay. And gather to me my faithful. Right. There's a group of people like yourselves that are being faithful to Yah, those who made a covenant with me by sacrifice. He's not saying that, talking about those that you and I would recognize as the ones who were just in the wilderness, okay? In the sense that you and I can't say, well, I didn't make that covenant. Yes, you did. You did make that covenant. This is the reason why he keeps telling and talking to us in a certain way, is because we did make a covenant with him. Because remember, as those who are standing here and those who are not standing here today, Israel made a covenant. And those who are faithful to Yah, the ones who are faithful to him are the ones who are going to keep the covenant. That's what he's saying, okay? And you may ask yourself, well, what about the stranger? What about the foreigner? Well, there were strangers and there was foreigners who lived among Israel when he made that covenant with Israel. and they join themselves to the Most High. You can verify this in Isaiah chapter number 56. If you believe that you're a stranger or you're a foreigner to Israel and you're concerned about whether or not you're Yah's people, Isaiah chapter number 56 is your chapter that tells you that if you take hold of Yah's covenant and you obey what he says and you honor the Shabbat and don't violate it by using your hand to perform any work on that day, then you too will be called my people. Okay. So Yah has made this covenant. And so those who are faithful to Yah are going to keep the covenant. They're not going to make excuses about what they do, and they'll make the adjustments. Because faithfulness is what Yah is talking about. Okay. Yah is faithful. And we're going to see that in just a moment. I want you to remember that word as we continue. Again, here is another declaration about the heavens. The heavens proclaim his righteousness. Yes, there will also be children of mixed relations and nations and heritage among us. Absolutely, Azania. They will be receiving an inheritance according to the book of Ezekiel. Okay, so Yah's concerned with those who keep the covenant, not the ones who make excuses. You have to be faithful. The heavens, not the earth, the heavens proclaim the righteousness of his righteousness, Yah's righteousness, for Elohim himself is judge. He's the one who's going to make a decision. That's what judges do. They make a decision, and then once they declare that decision, they execute the judgment in which they said that they're going to do. So he tells us, listen, my people, I am speaking, Yisrael, I am testifying against you. I'm testifying against you. The reason why I'm testifying against you is because you know me. I know that you think that you don't really know me because you are in the nation scattered. But I keep talking to you and trying to wake you up to who you are. That's the reason why I'm telling you that the heavens are going to proclaim my righteousness. And Akika, what is it about them proclaiming? Are they going to, what they're going to do? Proclaim means they're going to call out. They're going to show you Yah's righteousness. When he says in Isaiah chapter number 64 that he is actually going to split open the heavens, and you're going to see Yah and the glory of Yah coming. You're going to see a fire around him. You're going to see thunder and lightning. You're going to see this glorious appearance of the Almighty. And the heavens is going to be the one that is going to help facilitate that coming of the Most High. In your Torah portion, our prophet Moshe said, I will proclaim. This is in verse number 3. He's proclaiming, which is calling out, like he said to the heavens. This is who he's talking to. I will proclaim the name of Yahweh. And he says, come. See, I wish I had my voice. Guess the Most High took it away from me today. He said, come and declare the greatness of our Elohim. Who is he talking about? He's talking about the heavens. He's talking about the glory of Yah. They're going to be the ones who proclaim the righteousness of Yah. The rock, his work is perfect. It is complete. There is no half-heartedness. There is no sidewayness with Yah. There is no incompleteness. There is nothing lacking, for all his ways are judgment. All of them, not some of them, all of them point us to Yah's judgment. This is what you and I should be ha'azenu, listening to and causing to hear. because there is coming a day when you and I will be able to see the righteousness of Yah coming in the heavens. Oh, praise be to the mighty Yah. Our Elohim is a trustworthy Elohim. He does no wrong. He is righteous and straight. This is what Moshe proclaimed to the heavens and to the earth, telling us that Yah is emunah. This is the Hebrew word for trustworthy. This is where you get your English word, amen. And amen, in English, they could call it amen, but it's not amen. That's named after a god. Amen here versus amen or aman is to say that Yah can be trusted. It means to support. That's what it means. This is where you get your idea of faith from Yah. If there's any faithfulness or any support to be found, it will only be found in Yah. It will never be found in a man. It will never be found. It did not originate with man. It did not originate with a religion. It did not originate with someone's idea. It's from Yah. Yah is faithful. He's faithful to his people. He's faithful to his creation. He's faithful to the seasons. He's faithful to the day. He's faithful to the night. He's faithful. His faithfulness is found in the brightness of the sun and the course that it takes on a daily. The moon makes her cycles, and he's faithful to cause her to shine at the times and the seasons. The stars give testimony to Yah's faithfulness. He's faithful. He's faithful to keep his promises. He's faithful to remember the covenant. He's faithful to remember you. He's constant. He has not changed. He has never changed. He's been steady in our lives. I want you to hear the words that I'm saying to you today. I need you and I to cause Taha Azinu, to be caused to hear what Yah has spoken, what he's telling us about him. He's constant. He does not waver. He is steady and consistent in love and truthfulness and faithfulness, commitment. He's faithful in remembering what he said. He's a trustworthy Elohim who does no wrong. He is righteous and he is straight. Yah is always about pursuing that which is right. He's in constant pursuit. He is steady in pursuing and chasing down that which is right. And the only way that things can be made right is when Yah makes them straight. This week, we learned that the Most High introduced us to a word called Yashar, which is that word for straight. Yashar is upright. Our Elohim does nothing wrong. Any decision that has been made by Yah from the beginning of our inception of time has always been right. It has to do with this idea of being straight. There is nothing crooked in Yah. There is nothing that's twisted or contorted in his judgment. There is nothing wrong with our Elohim. His words are straight. His ways are straight. His judgments are straight. Everything about him lines up. Everything about him is built with precision. Everything about him and every design has perfection in it because Yah has put a cord on the straightness of everything that he's made. Within that word, Yashar, you remove the yod from that word and you have the word called shar. They took the yod off from Yashar to just making shar. And shar is the root of that word, Yashar, going back to a cord. A cord was used in order to line it up to make sure that it was straight and that it wasn't turned. If something is straight, you know from one end to the next end, it will be exact. It will be perfect. It can be counted on. It can be relied upon. It can be known. It can be validated. But when something is turned and twisted, you can't be accurate. You will not be accurate in your measurement. This is the reason why the Most High said that he is Yashar, because Yah is accurate. Yah is exact. Yah is perfect. Yah can be relied upon. So when he says what he says, understand, people, that Yah is accurate in what he says. He is just in his balance. Everything that he does is right. You can't have something in your life that is crooked or perverse or contorted or twisted and not pulled straight. A person that is happy, according to the Hebrew language, if I wanted to be happy and I wanted to what they call to be blessed, the Most High would then call the word not Yashar, he would actually call the word Ashar. He would put an aleph in front of this word to call a person to be blessed. The person that is blessed is the one that is happy. The one that is happy is the one who lives his life in a straight path. When you live your life straight, you only can be happy then. That's not talking about bending your knee. When Yah says that I don't have the blessings of the land, I don't have the blessings of Yah in my land, but I still can be blessed. I still can find some happiness only in Yah. That's the only place you will find your happiness, is in Yah. He can make your life a shar. The shar is the aleph that's put right here, meaning the strength of the cord, to make your cord strong and to keep it and make sure that it stays straight. So you can be accurate in your life and you can't be twisted. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is from the mighty Yah. He told us this week in our Torah portion, he called us by our nickname and said that your name is Yasharun. Yasharun has our word Yashar in it. It has Yashar in it. Let me go back. There's something, see, anytime I get on a roll, something has to happen. Here it is. This word called Yashar has the word in it. Or Yesharun. Yashar is in Yesharun. This is a name the Yah's mentioned in the Torah portion to tell you and I about how he feels about you and I. It's a name that is poetic. It's one of the special names the Yah has given to his children to let us know how he sees us and what our ideal characters should be. If he calls us Yasharun, he's saying, I want you to be upright like me. I want you to be like your father. I want you to be like me. I want you to be accurate. I want you to examine your life. I don't want you to live a life of crookedness. I know that's not you. That's not your character. That's not why I birthed you. I birthed you so you can be straight. But what Yah has declared to us through the conversation that he's had with the heavens is that his children is corrupt. It says he is not corrupt. Yah is not corrupt. The defect is in his children. A crooked and a perverted generation, of people that are twisted, of people that are wayward, of people that don't line up, of people that have a mindset that's not bent on doing what is right, of people that are so contorted that you can't make out what they're thinking. They don't know if they're coming and they don't know where they're going. They don't know if they want to be good. They don't know if they want to be right. Sometimes they want to be righteous. Sometimes they don't. They don't want to be straight. I'm sorry, everybody. I can't help but tell you today that Yah is telling his people that I don't want perversion in your lives. You cannot become what I want you to be if you think, live, and act and eat this way. I don't want that for you. You are a foolish people. Oh, if the Father would tell his children the truth, when are we going to listen? When are we going to be caused to listen to this voice of our Almighty El Shaddai, who tells us the truth about ourselves? He said that you and I are lacking in wisdom. We don't ask enough questions. Oh, he says, is this how you repay Yahweh? Is this how you repay me? Is this what it is after everything that I've done for you? Is this the way that you mature as a fruit on a tree? Is this the grapes that ended up after its season? Is this the fig that turned out to be wrong? Is this what I expected from my children? Is this something that I intended for you? No, I intended for you to be mature. I intended for you to be upright. Because if you're mature and if you're right, then that's the one that's whole. It's not the one that's perverted. It's not the one that's contorted. It's not the one that's distorted. It is the one that is mature. The one who is upright is the one that is whole. It's the one that Yah would receive as a first fruits of his inheritance. Oh, praise be to Yahweh today. Oh, praise be to the Almighty El Shaddai today, for his mercy endureth forever, for Yahweh gives wisdom. He gives wisdom from his mouth. Knowledge and understanding comes from the mouth of Yah. If you want to know something, if you want to understand something, it has to come from Yah's mouth. It cannot be your own. It cannot be your thoughts, because your thoughts are perverted and they are twisted and they are crooked, and therefore you lack understanding and wisdom because you don't get your words from the mouth of Yahweh. You don't go to Yah for knowledge. You go to the books that you've studied in your education in your schools. You'll go to a self-help book before you turn to Yah. You'll go to a YouTube video to listen to what some man said instead of listening to your God. He said he stores up common sense for the upright. Do you hear what he said? He's giving counsel to the people that are upright. And he says he is a shield to those whose conduct is blameless, in order to guard the course of justice and preserve the way of those who are faithful to Yah, those who are supportive to Yah, those who are imuna of Yah, those who are trustworthy to Yah. Those are the people who keep the covenant. Those are the people that Yahweh wants to give knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to, so they can guard the course of justice and they can preserve the way of those who are faithful to Yahweh. Oh, bless his name. And when he talks about us being faithful to him, and he talks about the one who is blameless, the one who is blameless is the one who is mature. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Praise to Yahweh. He says, you foolish people, you're so lacking in wisdom. Is this how you repay me? What is he talking about being a fool? He's talking about a one who's Naval. He's saying that, listen, you have worn out. You faded away. You don't have any beauty. Everything about you has been flowed out of you. You don't have any substance. You don't have any beauty. You have nothing attractive about you because you're crooked and because you are torturous and because you're perverted. And as a result of you being foolish, you have come to being an utter failure. You are a failure in this world. Outside of what Yah has said, you are a failure and you've worn out and you faded and you have not become what Yah said for you to become. You have not matured in the way that he wants. And he's telling his children the truth. And we need to bless his name for that. This word, Naval, it means to have come to a place of failure. I want to share with you today. Oh, praise be to Yah. I want to share with you today this idea that I talked about this week. It was about verbal currency. This is my words. These are my words. You will never find this word in a dictionary. This is my saying that I'm giving to you today. You and I have what I call verbal currency. You have a systematic way that you can have value to your life by the words that come out your mouth. This is what Yah wants you and I to understand about him, is that when you and I come to him, we got to come with verbal currency. This word Naval is found in a story about a man called Naval. I don't know if you know him. I don't know if you remember this story, but this story is about a man who has great wealth. He had a lot of great things. He had a beautiful house. He had a beautiful vineyard. He had sheep. He had it all. And King David was in a wilderness. He was in contention with Shaul, the king. And he guarded this man's belongings. David and his men, about 600 of them, were out in the wilderness. And they were out there and they were guarding this man's property. And this man's name was Naval. And his wife was named Abigail, like you, Gil. You hear that Gil in there, Gail? That means to rejoice. And the woman was intelligent and attractive, but the man was cruel and mean in his actions. He belonged to the clan of Caleb from the tribe of Yehudah. This man, Naval, was a cruel man. That word Naval has to do with the idea of being foolish. A person that is foolish has the tendency to be cruel and to be mean. And just to give you a little bit of insight on the story, David has sent off 10 young men with these orders to go to Naval and Carmel and bring him greetings from me. Carmel was a place of great vineyards. And so this man had an extreme amount of wealth. And he said, go to him and send him greetings for me. And I need you to tell him long live, or long life and shalom to you. Shalom to your household. Shalom to everything that is yours. David sent some currency. He sent some verbal currency to this man. Words of life, words of peace, words of wholeness. And this fool sent back a different message. And David continues to say that I've heard that you now have shears. Your shepherds were with us for a while. We did them no harm. They found nothing missing. I mean, there were 600 men of military power. And he said, you know what? While they were out there, they didn't take advantage of them. All they did was they guarded them. There was found nothing missing of all the time that they were in Carmel. Ask your own men. They will tell you. This is David's message that he's sending to this man. Therefore, receive my men favorably, since we have come on a festive day, and please give what you can to your servants and to your son, David. David's not his son, but David recognized that, guess what? This man is an older man, and I want to put myself underneath his authority, and I want to say things to him with the words that I say, and I want to be respectful to him. And so we see that David is being wise in his approach and when he's talking. This man answered David when David sent his servants. Now, Vol answered David's servants. Who is David? Who is David? Who is the son of Yeshai? There are many servants nowadays running away from their masters. Am I supposed to take my bread, water, and my meat that I slaughtered for my shears and give it to men coming from who knows where? He's disrespecting David, and he's disrespecting his men. And so what we can learn here is that a fool, especially someone who's cruel and mean, does not know how to control the words that are coming to their mouth. It's organic. It's going to come out. And so I want you to understand that there's a contrast between being a fool and being someone who's foolish, and being someone who's worn out, being someone who is going to come to failure versus somebody who's not. In our text, we find that the man's name was Naval and his wife's name was Abigail. This woman was intelligent and attractive. Okay. That attractiveness there is not talking about her face. This attractiveness that was mentioned here is talking about the frame of her body. She's attractive just by the way she moved. Her body was attractive. She had a beautiful shape, but the man was cruel and mean in his actions, and he belonged to the clan of Caleb, which is a contradiction to being part of Yehuda, right? He is one part, he was celebrating and doing a feast and, celebrating like Yehuda, but there's another side of him that was mean and that was cruel. And Yah is saying that I'm going to give you this example and show you some contrast between a fool and somebody that's intelligent. When we talk about verbal currency, you and I are going to have to be intelligent. Okay? Everyone on this channel right now, you are intelligent. That's the reason why you're here. It's because you're not a fool. A fool is someone who covers their mind. There's somebody that's just so out of it, they don't even understand anything, but you're not. You're intelligent. And let me explain to you and show you why you need intelligence to have with your verbal currency. This woman, her name is Abigail, okay? Meaning my father's joy. If you and I intend on being our father's joy, I told you and I in our Torah portion that you and I vexed him. We vexed him. We made him angry. We're not the joy of Yah when you and I act like a fool. When you and I are not living up to expectation, when you and I are not coming to maturity, you and I cannot be joyful to Yah. My father is right here, this word Avi. That's my father. Gail, which has to do with Gil's name is G-I-L. G-I-L. Gil. That was her name. My father's joy. You see how you fit in this, Gil, today for the Torah portion? You are Yah's joy. But you can't be Yah's joy if you're acting like a fool, if you're going to act like Naval, if you're going to be wealthy and then you're going to be like, you're not willing to give and you're not willing to help because you're so self-absorbed that you allow your mouth to speak words that you should not say. This woman was intelligent. So the Most High is only pleased. The only time you and I can be his joy is when you and I are intelligent. The ability, the word that was being used there is called shekel. Okay? Sechel. Sekel. Sechel. Sechel has to do with the ability to consider a situation with comprehension in order to be successful or prosperous. Yes, Naval had material possessions. Yes, he had vineyards. Yes, you read the story, he had thousands of sheep and goats. He had sheep herders. He had employees and servants. But what this man was a fool. This woman had success and prosperity because of her intelligence. Yah wants to make you successful. He wants you to mature in a way that's not corrupt, not contorted, not twisted or crooked. And the only way for you and I to become that is for you and I to possess the ability to consider situations with a great deal of comprehension. So all your work and your efforts in Yah's business can be successful versus being Naval, which is a fool, which is a failure. I want you to be successful. I want you to be Yashar. I want you to be happy and upright. That's what I want for you. So, and ultimately, I want you to be your father's joy, like Abigail. This woman had an ability to be able to examine a situation and understand and know what's going on. So when she heard about it, the servants of the mean man, the cruel man, came and told the woman of the house and said, now, told the situation. They said, so now decide what you're going to do. For clearly harm is on its way to our master and all his household. I didn't tell you that David, when the message got back to David said, I'm coming to kill everybody. I'm killing everybody. Within this, I find a cryptic message from Yah to his people and saying to us right now, you and I now need to decide what we're going to do. Why? Because clearly harm is on its way. Yah is coming. Harm is coming to the world. Judgment is coming for the insults. Just like the fool had made to David, it's the fools who have said in their heart that there is no Elohim and that he's not going to judge this world. You and I must now decide, because harm is on its way to this world. And guess what she did? And so he says, in all his household, but he said, this man is so mean. This fool is so mean that no one can tell him anything. That's a fool. When you talk to somebody and they refuse to listen to you, and they're cruel and they're mean and they're just so obtruse and they're so obstinate and they're so hard-hearted and there's nothing you can say to them, they're a fool. They're a fool and they have a mean streak. So why waste your time? You need somebody that's intelligent that can say, I need to make a decision. And guess what? She did. So when Abigail saw David, what she did is she got on her donkey. When she saw, so she ran out to David. And she hurried to dismount from her donkey. She fell on her face in front of David and bowed down to the ground. Having at his feet, fallen at his feet, she said, you better hear the verbal currency. It's all my fault, my Lord, all my fault. Please let your servant speak in your ears, your ha'azanu. Cause yourself to hear what I'm about to tell you and listen to what your servant says. I want you to listen to the verbal currency. See, that's where your value is. It's in your words. She said, please, my master shouldn't pay attention to this worthless fellow. That's what she called her husband. Naval, because he's just like his name. Naval, meaning foolish, stupid. Yah calls his people foolish and stupid 2 times in the book of Yirmiyahu, which is Jeremiah chapter number 4 and chapter number 5, verse number 22 and verse number 24 of chapter number 5. You guys are stupid. You're foolish. You're senseless. You're failing. See, so remember that your name is your character. If you claim to be Israel, you better make sure that your character lines up to what it means. If you don't want to claim the name of Israel and you want to be like the nations and you say that you're not Israel, I want you to hear me and hear me well today. Every last one of you Hebrew people and you Israelites that's out here that don't want to claim that you're Israel, you're going to take on your name, which is the nations. And you're going to see what they're going to get. The nations are going to get, if you're not going to be nation, you're not going to be Israel, then what you're going to be is what they call the Goyim. If you're the Goyim, then you are the nations, and you're going to get what they get. And this is the reason why you don't want to be Israel, because if you are the Goyim, and that's who you claim that you are, like you're like everybody else, that explains your character. And guess what? If Yah tells you that the nations don't follow their ways because they're stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. And if you do follow them, you're going to become dumb just like them. And the reason why we're dumb, everyone, and the reason why we're stupid as a people is because we follow idols. That's what makes you stupid. And I'm going to prove that to you. Okay? So you and I, right, talking about the nation of Israel, you and I, Israel, need to understand if you want to come out of being an idiot, then you have to let go of your idol. Okay? Abigail came to Nabal. Now, after she made her plea to David, he accepted it. Abigail came to her husband, and there he was in the house holding a feast fit for a king, but he couldn't give David anything, remember? He's having a feast for a king. He was high in the spirits. You know, I'm talking about being high in the spirit. He probably had the Holy Spirit. And because he was very drunk in the spirit, because that's what drinking does. It puts you in the spirit. So she told him nothing, whatever, until the next morning. And in the morning, when he was sober, when he came to his senses and his wife told him what happened, he had a stroke and became motionless as a stone. Some 10 days later. Why 10? Because Yahweh had sent David to send 10 servants. So the 10 servants equivalents to the 10 days later, because 10 of those servants came and gave a testimony to that man about what David had said. And Yahweh struck Nabal and he died. So when he heard what happened to him, he actually lived up to his name again, because this word Nabal not only means a fool, but it also means to flow out. So what happened with him is his life flowed out of him when he found out, and the fear of Yah came upon him because of what he had said, what came out of him, because what came out of him was this life. He knew that, oh wow, I could have died, but it was what flowed out of his mouth. That's what a fool is. A fool has a multitude of words that flow out their mouths. They just do a whole bunch of talking. And when a person speaks, they may be giving away their life and they don't even know it. So Yahweh struck him and he died. You understand? That's the importance of understanding what a fool is, okay? Because fools, they say in their hearts, in their minds, that there is no Elohim. That's what they say. And foolishness is something that's running rampant through the children of Israel and through the world. But again, back to our Torah portion, but Yeshurun grew fat. And I'm telling you about the foolishness of Yeshurun, even though this one who's supposed to be upright and sharp and straight did something foolish. They grew fat and they kicked. They kicked their creator like a parent, like a child who hits a parent, or a child that refuses to listen to their parent, a son or a daughter who refuses to listen to their mother and father, a stupid person that would speak crazy to their boss at work and not listen to the instructions that the CEO of the company gave. You got to be out your mind. You understand? So he abandoned his Elohim. That was foolish. His maker. He scorned the rock, his salvation. Here's another foolish thing that he did, that they did. You ignored the rock who fathered you. You forgot Elohim who gave you birth. That's stupid and it's foolish. They aroused my jealousy with the non-God and provoked me with their foolish idols. Do you see that? That word is naval in the Hebrew. Idols cause you to let things flow out of your mouth like you're not going to be measured and like nothing's going to happen to you. You got to be out of your mind to think that Yah's not going to judge you. I will arouse their jealousy with the non-people and provoke with a Naval nation. I took the word foolish and put Naval back there just so you can see that Yah is telling you everything that he just mentioned about Naval. Naval nation, a people who do nothing but a whole bunch of talk, a people that say things just to say it, irregardless to what Yah has said. So this is what I'm going to do to you. You did this to me, I'm going to do it to you. You made me jealous, I'm making you jealous. You gave me a non-God who's foolish, I'm going to give you a non-people who's foolish. You provoked me, I'm going to provoke you. You give me with foolish idols, I'll do the foolish nation. So I'm telling you that these go together. I'm telling you that the nations that you're in, they worship idols. Stupid. Got it? Foolish. Oh, Dawi, why are you saying this? Akika, why do you keep calling us dumb and stupid? Let it apply to those who worship idols. Remember, this is being recorded. I'm not talking to anybody in this room right now. I'm talking to those who are watching my video who still want to say that Christ is your God and that the nations where you went, the Most High is with you. No, stupid. He's not with you. The nations are the ones who follow these foolish idols. And the people that are, there's a non-people, there's a group of people on earth, a soul, a set people that's going to say some things that I'm going to make you mad. I'm going to make you jealous. I'm going to make you want to take vengeance. Measure for measure. So who is this foolish nation? Who is this foolish nation that Yah's talking about? Is it the United States of America? Who is it? Is it the Chinese? Is it the Koreans? Is it the Africans? Who is it? Is it the Arabians? Who is it? I'm going to share some information with you, and then you figure out who it is. I'll let you figure it out. So you can't say that I said it. Let's just go with some facts. I'll read it for you. If one committed sodomy with a child of less than 9 years old, no guilt is incurred. I want you to hear what he just said. You can sodomize a child, okay? Go ahead and rape a child less than 9 years old, and there's no guilt. Does that sound like a fool to you? Well, let's see what the Most High says. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with the womankind. It is an abomination. But here you can sodomize a child. There's your source right there. Go look it up. There's child sacrifice. He who gives his seed to Moloch incurs no punishment. Yah says, whoever sacrifices a child, whoever gives any of his seed to Moloch, he shall be surely put to death. So we see some contrast here, right? Let's go with another source down here. One who curses his parents isn't punished unless he curses them by the divine name. So you can curse me out. You could talk crazy to me because you didn't use Yahweh's name. Then there's no guilt. There's no punishment. Over here, the Most High tells us that in his Torah, he that curses his father or mother shall be put to death. That's your source, 21 and 17. So what we're seeing, everyone, is that Yah is saying, you've abandoned what I said, you've abandoned Leviticus, and you've abandoned Exodus, and you've abandoned this source because you're not listening to me. So here's a people that they're going to put out some rules for you to listen to. So once you go check their sources and see if who's telling the truth, you can see who the foolish people are. Enchanting. It's permitted to consult by a charm that the spirits of oil and eggs make incantations. So you could do enchanting. Seek out the evil. Here in Deuteronomy, it says, none of you shall be an enchanter or a charmer or a consulter with a familiar spirit. Okay? Just some things that you can look at. Bestiality. So you can lay down with a woman having intercourse with the beast, can marry a priest. You can go lay down and have intercourse with any beast that you want, even your dog, and you can go marry a priest. And the act is but a mere wound. That's all it is. You got penetrated by a German shepherd. So there it is. Write it down. Write this down. And go look at it and find out. Well, what does Yah say about bestiality? You shall not lie with any beast, nor shall any woman stand before a beast to lie with it. Why? Because Yah says you're going to be put to death for it. Harlotry. It says it's lawful. A harlot's hire is permitted. For what a woman has received is legally a gift. And that's found in Avodah Zarah. Right? So you can be a whore. But according to the Torah, it says that she that plays the whore in her father's house, right, shall be put to death. You see? Blasphemy is allowed in the understanding of these people. One can revile the divine name if mentally applying it to some other object. You can use his name and revile it, okay, if it's applying to some other object. But we see that no blasphemy shall ever be according to the name of the Creator. You should surely be put to death. Okay, so those are facts. Okay, that's the nation. Here's some other sources for you to look at. A Jew may marry a 3-year-old girl. That's a nation. A Jew may have sex with a child. That's as long as that child is over 9 years old. Really? Okay. When a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing. When the girl is less than 3 years old, it is as one puts the finger into the eye. Tears come out to the eye again and again. So does virginity come back to a little girl under 3 years old or 3 years. So when her as a small boy has intercourse with a grown-up woman, right? So you got a 3-year-old boy having intercourse with a grown woman. He makes her as a girl who is injured by a piece of wood. So these are the people that you and I have been told that they're the people. They're the people. The Talmud teaches that having sex with a little girl less than 3 years old is 3 years old in a day, is no more of effect on her than if she gets poked in the eye, and her virginity will grow back again. See, they're on that thing. Also, for an adult Jewish woman to seduce a little boys is no more than a consequence than if a Jewish had injured herself with a wooden object. Those are facts. This is the people. These are the people. These are the people of Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh. These are the consecrated people. And if you say anything against them, then it's going to be anti-Semitic, right? Let me share one other thing that's in the writings that you can go verify for yourself. I gave the source. It tells you about the people. These are the people of the Most High. This is the nation that he said, I'm going to make you jealous with. So Nimrod in the Tower of Babel, this is in the writings of what they call Pirkei, the Rabbi Elazar, and number 24 in the Talmud. This is a reliable source. Listen what it says. Noah brought his sons and his grandsons, and he blessed them with their several settlements. And he gave them as an inheritance all the earth, especially blessed Shem and his sons, making them dark but comely. And he gave them an habitable earth, and he blessed them, or blessed Ham and his sons, making them dark. Right? They're dark too, like the raven. And he gave them as an inheritance the coast of the sea. And he blessed Japheth and his sons, making them entirely white. And he gave them for an inheritance the desert and its fields. These are the inheritance with which he endowed them. So you're telling me that Shem is black, Ham is black, but all of a sudden now Japheth is white? So remember, they define what black is and dark, and they define what white is. You know, he could have been light-skinned, who knows? Here's my point of the foolishness. The foolishness is that Shem is not a people of color. Our fathers came from Shem. We're Afro-Asiatic people. We're people from Mesopotamia. That's who we are. So it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to be the people, and they're white, and they don't want to be Japheth, which is from, Ashkenaz or any of these other people. Okay. And I'm not putting a color on Israel. What I'm telling you is that you cannot deny that the people of color are of Israel. It's a bloodline, and this is our father. You see, that's what it is. But we get a whole bunch, of stuff that's saying that you guys are not the people, and you're trying to take over our inheritance, when they clearly have in their writings to tell you that the people of Israel are the people of color. Okay. And someone had a question for me. Well, how do you know? I told one guy, he was upset. He's not on here. He said, I'm white. I said, so? He's like, well, what does that mean? If I'm not black, I'm not Israel? I said, Israel is a people. Israel could be a variety of different colors. Israel's been scattered to the four corners of the earth, and they have been involved with all different nationalities and all different peoples. So it is a bloodline for us. You see? You understand? You guys understand what I'm saying? So the bottom line is that the people that Yah has used to claim that they're us is the people who are telling you that it's okay to do these things that we just mentioned and talked about. And you can look at those sources. In your Torah portion, you found out about vengeance. It's a big thing. It's a hot potato. I want to tell you about the vengeance of humankind, and then which again has to do with the verbal currency, because Yah lets us know through Abigail about my father's joy that she was trying to prevent David from doing something. Okay. She said, therefore, my Lord, she's talking to David, as Yahweh lives. Remember, Yah raises his hand to the heavens and said, as surely as I'm alive. So understanding as Yahweh lives is the words, is the currency in which a person would swear by. Okay. And as you live, inasmuch as Yahweh has kept you from guilt of shedding blood, she's saying, me coming here and giving you these words have caused you to keep you from guilt of shedding blood and taking vengeance into your own hands. And therefore may your enemies and anyone seeking your harm be as worthless as Naval. This is before Naval went and had a stroke. This is the conversation that they had. So I wanted to show you that there's a different type of vengeance that Yah has and a different type of vengeance that man has. This word for vengeance right here points to Hashoah or Hoshea, meaning salvation. So what it's telling us is she's saying not that Yah was going to give, you're not going to do the vengeance of Yah, but what David was going to do was he was going to take his salvation in his own hand, meaning like, I'm going to save myself from the insults of this worthless person. So we're seeing that Yah's vengeance, even in this sake about vengeance, Yah's talking about for David that she said, I stopped you from taking salvation into your own hands. So salvation is not something that you and I can bring about for ourselves. Because if it is, if you and I will allow Yah, if Yah lives in us and he lives, and we know that he lives, then you know that he's the one who's going to bring salvation. You're not going to seek salvation from another man. You're not going to seek salvation from your own hands. You're not going to seek it because as Yahweh lives. See, so they understood something about salvation. Okay, they put in English vengeance, but that's not the word that was used there. In Hebrew is Hoshea, which is one of the prophets that we have that talks about salvation. David said to Abigail, blessed be Yahweh. Now here's his verbal currency. Blessed be Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, who sent you today to meet me, and blessed be your tactfulness. Okay, meaning your taste, and blessed be yourself for having kept me today from a guilt of shedding blood and taking vengeance into my own hands, taking salvation into my own hands. So he blessed Yahweh, and that's a command that you and I should do for Yahweh, our Elohim, because he lives. And it said, but he blessed her tactfulness. They had that in English. I put the correct word there is taste. Okay. So this woman had a certain type of taste about her. She had the ability of perception, and she had the ability to distinguish between thoughts. Just as one has a taste, which tells us something about this woman too. Not only is she fine, she had a nice body on her, but also too, it was a taste that she had. David was able to recognize that she had perception. She not only can be able to have a perception about taste, about when you talk about foods. This woman was not only good about probably how to cook and make a meal, but this woman actually had the ability to have perception to distinguish between thoughts. She was able to evaluate the situation, and her actions were upright. She prevented David from shedding blood, and she prevented David from seeking to have salvation for himself by his own hand. And therefore, he blessed her because of that. And he says, blessed is your taste. Blessed is your perception. When we talk about perception, everyone, we're talking about our senses. I'm talking about what you see with your eyes. I'm talking about the perception with your ears. I'm talking about what you hear. I'm talking about what you taste. I'm talking about what you feel. I'm talking about what you smell. So when you have these senses and they're heightened and you understand this, right, and you're living in an upright way and you're constantly thinking about situations and circumstances and you're not responding without thinking, That's a person who uses their senses. A lot of us our senses have been dulled and dumbed down. We just take action. So we're not actually making a difference. We're not making distinguishments between what we actually hear and what the situation really is. So work on your taste buds, not just for your food, but also too for your thoughts. So when you speak, you can make sure that your currency is something that can be of value. Also in perception, there's this idea of awareness, to be aware of a situation. I want you to be aware about what was found in the Torah portion, Devarim 32:26, where Yah says something very telling to Moshe to let the children of Israel know, and to let the heavens know, and to let the earth know, and to let the nations know, that I consider putting it into them. Who? Israel. Erasing their memory from the human race. But the fear of the vexation of the enemy, meaning that Yah was like, you know what? These people have already vexed me. Israel's vexed me. And what I'm going to do, if I destroy them by them, because then they're going to vex me too. So I had to make a choice between if I'm going to let them vex me, or I'm going to let my children vex me. I'm going to let my children make me angry, or am I going to let them make me angry? See, because the enemy will vex Yah too, because Yah was going to use the enemy, and he has used the enemies of Israel to execute the chastisement, and the discipline has happened because Yah has put the enemy on our behinds. But he says, the vexation of their enemy feared that their foes, because we have enemies, would mistakenly think we ourselves have accomplished this. Yahweh had nothing to do with it. So it's what's the better decision to make? Well, the decision that Yah made is, I don't want the vexation of the enemy. I'd rather take it from my children than to take it from an enemy. So what he's saying is, these people would say that we ourselves have accomplished. That right there talks about the work of their hands. Their hands will be raised. Like we're the ones, not Yah didn't do this work. Yah didn't raise his hand, we did. So going back to what he said about his being hands raised, Yah says, I raise my hand to the heavens. I raise my hand to the heavens. He's saying, if I allow the enemies to destroy Israel by me erasing their memory from the human race, then these enemies are going to raise their hands to the heavens. And then they're going to declare that they're the ones who did it, and it wasn't Yah's work, meaning Yah had nothing to do with it. They would say that it was the work of their hands versus the work of Yahweh's hands. Just like what Abigail just told David and said, Yah said that you shouldn't take salvation into your own hands. Yah don't want you to do that, because if you do that, then you're going to think and you're going to vex Yah because you don't allow Yah to do the work that he wants to do. The vengeance of Yah is the work of Yah. And that's something that Yah is going to do. So when you get Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all the rest of these people, great men, who decide that they're going to try to do something for you, and you got the Black Lives Matter, and you got this, and you got that, and you got the government, you got the Democratic Party and the people in the Republican Party, and all these people are saying that they're going to do these things for you people. Do you think that they're going to deliver you? Okay. So the Most High is saying, it's not about you. It's not about them. It's about me. I'm the one. You understand? So they're going to think by their own hands. And guess what? He says they are a nation without counsel. They lack counsel, utterly lacking in discernment. So they're just as dumb as my people, because my people are foolish and stupid. These people are lacking counsel and discernment. He said if they were wise, they could figure it out. And they would understand their destiny. They would understand their future. They would understand the Akodet Hamayim. They would understand the future. They don't understand the future. That's their destiny. The people who should know their destiny, the people who should know their future, the people that Yah tells the future to. That's the beauty of our Elohim. He tells you what he's going to do before he does it. Listen carefully. Vengeance of Yah is different from the vengeance of a man. The word vengeance here is not salvation, like it was for David. Vengeance here and payback has to do with Yah saying, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to avenge my people. I'm going to bring it, okay? And payback are mine. This is what he says. For the time when their foot slips, talking about the nations, for the day of their calamity is coming soon. Their doom is rushing upon them. Yes, Yahweh will judge his people. So we get this confused because we're thinking it's right next to the same verse. But listen what Yah says about judging his people. This word right here about judgment is not a judgment of making a decision, because Yah has already made a decision for Israel. Okay. This is not a decision. This is not a decision. He's not making a decree or judgment like he's in court and putting a judgment on us. This judgment right here is what you would call that Yah is going to make our plea. He's going to plead for us with the nations. He's going to take a judgment, and he's going to, here it's called a deen. Okay. And the deen in Hebrew is D, Yod, Nun. Okay. But you get your word Don from, one of the tribes of Israel, meaning the Yah's a judge. A deen is someone who is interested in bringing life, because it's called the door from the Dalet, and the Nun is life. So he's talking about the door of life. Okay. The life of the door, or the door of life. It's the door of life, meaning Yah is going to resolve the problems and the issues, and therefore he's going to plead with the nations on our behalf and saying, you got to let my people go now. Now you, after everything you've done, you got to let them go. And I'm here to avenge them. I'm here to bring it now. See, so don't worry. But listen what he says. In context, when Yah says he's judging, he's bringing life to his people. He says he's taking pity. That word pity there means like the womb of a woman. I mean, when a child is born through a woman, he has a calm, and that is, I'm going to be like a mother to the people, to my servants. It's the ones who's been faithful to me. Remember Emunah? And when he sees that their strength is gone, that no one is left, slave or free. This means when it talks about slave or free, it's a participle, meaning that it's going on. So there is no more slaving, right? There's no more slaving, and there's no one being set free. There's no one, there's no more. They don't have any more strength. When he talks about their strength, he's talking about their hand. When he talks about their strength, he's talking, you look in Hebrew, he's talking about your yad, he's talking about your hand. Going back to what he just told us about David. You can't try to save, when we try to save ourselves with our own hand, we try to take vengeance on by our own hand to bring salvation for us so we can feel good about ourselves. Yeah, I'm saying that that's not going to happen. I am your salvation. You understand? So I got to wait till you figure like our hands are weak and we can't do it no more. When you decide to put your hand down, listen, Yah says, when you put your hand down and then you raise my hand is raised. When you say that my power, I don't have no power. And guess what? You say, Yah, you have all power. When you and I wait for Yah, when we wait for him to raise his hand. And that's the problem that we've been having. We've been trying to raise our own hand to bring about salvation for ourselves through everything we've been doing, like a fool. This is the reason why David said this in Tehillim, which is Psalms. My soul waits in silence for my Elohim. My salvation comes from him, not Christ, not a prophet, not a man, not a woman, not a child, not a job, not a bank account, not a wealth, not a mansion, not a car, none of that. Not medicine, not a doctor. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. Yah calls himself this all the time, that I'm your stronghold. I'm the place that you're going to run to. When people go to a stronghold, they run to it and they run it and they stay in it so they can be safe. He says, I won't be greatly moved. Okay. Meaning that because you're my rock and you alone, there's no one else. And Yah has been telling us this forever. And you and I have not been listening to Yah. Yahweh alone in your Torah portion led his people. I'll say it again. Alone, okay, which is first person common singular, okay, led his people. No alien God was with him, okay, third person masculine singular, okay. third person, masculine, singular. Okay? Him alone. There's nobody else except for Yah. And that's why he's telling us this. And let's get to our conclusion. Thus saith Yahweh, Israel's king and redeemer. Okay? Yahweh Zavaoth, I am the first and the last, and besides me, there is no God. Who is like me? Let him speak out and let him show me. Let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the eternal people. I told you earlier last week, and I'm going to continue to tell you that you're an eternal people. You're an Olam people. You are a people who have existed forever. You're Olam. Let him foretell the future signs and events. See, because everything is about someone telling you about the future and telling you about what's going to happen. And that's what makes our Elohim different. Because that's why you ask the question, who's like me? Who's like me? Yah is telling you that you're an eternal people. And because you're an eternal people, I tell you things. Because you're an eternal people, you're always going to be around. You're eternal. So why wouldn't I tell you the future? If you're just a people for right here for now, why am I telling you about what I'm going to do? Why am I telling this generation? Because you're an eternal people. You've been here before and you just didn't know it. You've been asleep and I've been waking you up. He says, don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. Didn't I tell you this long ago? Tell who? I told Israel, and I'm telling you today because you're Israel. You've been here before. Let Yah talk to you right now. Listen what he says. Didn't I tell you this long ago? I foretold it. You are my witnesses. Is there any God beside me? There's no rock. There's no other rock. I know of none. There's nobody else because I made you my witnesses. But didn't I tell you this long ago? Didn't I tell you that you're my witnesses? Oh, now you're waking up. Oh, now your senses is on today, huh? Now your ears are opening. Oh, now you're ha'azanuing now. Oh, he's causing you to understand now, isn't he? Didn't I tell you this long ago? I foretold it. You are my witnesses. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you that there is no other God beside me? He's talking to you, Israel. Didn't I tell you this? Answer me. Didn't I tell you this? Didn't I tell you? You're my witnesses. We're going to talk about that in a second. Remember that you're my witnesses. I've been talking to you. Here's what Yahweh says, your Redeemer. Listen. He who formed you in the womb. I am Yahweh who makes all things and stretch out the heavens all alone. Who spread out the earth all by myself. Alone and by myself. See? See? See now? Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm he. And there is no God beside me. Do you see that now? Now that I told you that I'm the one who made the heavens and all things, now that I told you that you're my witnesses, didn't I tell you this a long time ago? Didn't I tell you that you're an eternal people? I give you future signs and tell you events. Am I not the one? Can you see that now? There is no God beside me. I put to death and I make alive. I wound and I heal. No one saves anyone from what? From my hand. Oh, not your hand, my hand. What hand? The hand that was raised to the heavens. The one that says that I am and I live forever. Ka'ani Yahweh. The one who lives forever. My hand that I raised, the one that I swore by. The one that I raised in the wilderness and said that you're going to be my people. The one that I raised that I said I'm going to bring you to the land that I promised your ancestors. The one that I raised that told you I'm going to come and get you. The hand that I raised to save you. The hand that opened up the Red Sea. The hand that opened up the Nile River. The one that opened up the Jericho. The Jordan. the one that destroyed your enemies. I'm the one, and no one can save anyone from my hand. Oh, wow, look at there. For I lift up my hand to heaven and swear, as surely as I'm alive forever, if I sharpen my flashing sword and I set my hand to judgment. This judgment right here is not pleading. This one is mishpat. This one is it's time for me to execute the judgment that I gave. Now I will render vengeance to my foes, and I will repay those who hate me. And I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword will devour flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the flesh from the wild hair heads of the enemy. I'm coming, and I'm going to render vengeance. I will, as surely as I'm alive, saith Yahweh. Oh boy. So there's something I want the nations to do. I want the nations to sing out, you nations, about his people. You know who his people are. They're Israel and those who join themselves with them. For he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will render vengeance to his adversaries and make atonement for the land of his people. See, it is written before me. I will not be silent until I repay them. I will repay them to the full, your own crimes and those of your ancestors together, says Yahweh. Yah has written it down. It's already written that judgment is coming, not only for the nations, but not only those who hate Yah, but also those who committed crimes against the Most High, those of themselves and their ancestors together. I'm going to pay you now. You thought that it was, it's a layaway program, and you thought that I forgot about it, and I haven't. I wrote it down. Here's your verbal currency. This is your last verbal currency that I want to give you today. In your Haftarah, Yah has said something to Israel through the prophet Hosea. Hosea again means salvation. This is the reason why he wrote it and gave this prophet, because that's his name. His name is Hosea, meaning salvation. Salvation is by Yah's hand, not yours. Okay? So what he's telling you is this. If you would choose, going back to you will return, you're going this way, and you all of a sudden you start thinking, damn, what has happened to me? And you turn back and you go this way. That's shuv, that's return. Okay, it says return Israel to Yahweh your Elohim. They translated this word to incorrectly. Okay, they did. And that's because they don't understand the culture. The word to in Hebrew can be el, or it could be a lamed just by itself. It could be a separable preposition that's separated, or inseparable, meaning that once it's connected to a word, you can't take it. It's like a standalone, okay? So this one here is a standalone, and this one isn't. This one has to be attached to the verbal root, okay? But both of these mean to, because that's what a staff means. It means to go to or for. The word that's being used here in the Hebrew text is called ad, okay? And that has to do with the eye, and that has to do with the door. And you know the eye of the door, okay? So what that means is that you will go back again and again. And you have your eye towards the door. The door of what? The door of Yahweh's house, which in that case was the tabernacle. So a person that continues to look towards the tabernacle, and that's where the testimonies are, which would you would say the covenant. If you're looking towards the covenant over and over and over and over again, Yah says you're keeping your eyes on that door, this door of the tabernacle, and you keep looking, and you keep what they would call repeating the same thing, going back and back and forth and back and forth, then again, that means that you're returning to me. That's when he's talking about return to me. Not just go towards me, but I need you to keep coming back and back and back. This word ad here also too, a person who goes back again and again and again becomes a witness. I told you that you are my witnesses, but when you left, and you went worshiping other idols, you stop giving testimony, because that's what a witness does. And so when you stop giving testimony, you allow the Greeks and the Romans to come and give you what they call a New Testament, because you didn't want to keep my testimonies. Okay. So when you didn't do what I told you, they went out and wrote a new testimony because you stopped testifying. Now you are returning back to me. So what you're becoming now again is you're starting to put your witness on now. Now you're starting to speak your verbal currency again. You're speaking again and again and again. You speak about me when you get ready for this upcoming Moedim called the Day of Atonement, coming up on September 24th to the 25th. That's when you're going to be my witness again. And then after that, when you do Sukkot this year, you commemorate it by taking some time off and enjoying yourself and getting drunk and happy and eating real well. You're going to testify that you guys stayed in tents. When Pesach comes around again, you're going to make another testimony. You're going to give witness to that. Between those periods of time, you're also going to witness and give testimony like you are today on the Shabbat, that I am your Elohim and I made everything. So you're giving testimony to that right now. So you're being a witness to that. Okay. So you are returning to me. Okay. So understand that your witnessing power comes from your actions and the things that you say. But understand that this was a request, and not talking to those who are on here now. I'm talking to those who are watching live by stream and those who don't know what I'm talking about. That you have to return, not to Yah, you have to return to be a witness again to the Elohim of your fathers. And all you have to say is that your guilt has made you stumble. And instead of you bringing to me a man, a bloody man, okay, I don't want your bloody, innocent man. I don't want your bloody, innocent man. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want a bloody, innocent man, because I'm not accepting a bloody, innocent man. I don't accept the blood of the innocent for the death of the wicked. I don't do it. But what I do want from you is this. I want you to take your words. That's all I want from you. I want your words with you. And I want you to return to me, to Yahweh. And I want you to say something to me. I want you to say this so you can have all your guilt forgiven, because it's caused you to stumble out of the straight way. Remember, I told you to walk in a straight line and you decided you didn't want to walk straight. You said that you wanted to be like the nations. You said you wanted to keep Christmas and Easter and all this kind of stuff. I don't want that. I don't want you to stumble. I don't want you to be crooked anymore. I want you to be straight up with me. Okay. So you say, forgive all guilt and accept what is good. And we, as your people, will pay. We're going to pay. Instead of being repaid, we're going to pay. Instead of bulls, we're going to give you the offering of our lips. We're going to give you, I would say, like Kika taught us today, I'm going to give some verbal currency that has some value. And that currency is based in obedience. That currency is based in being faithful, showing fidelity, that what you would call emunah. I want you to be like me. I want you to mean what you say and say what you mean. I want you to do what you said you're going to do. That's what I want. But I want you to be wholehearted with me. I don't want you to be a fool and let words come out your mouth and just flow, and you don't really understand who you're talking to. Like Naval didn't understand who he was talking to. You need to understand who you're talking to. You're talking to the Almighty. And this is a promise that Yah says, because you delivered that verbal currency. I will heal your disloyalty. When I read these first words here, everyone, in closing, when he said, I will heal your disloyalty, I thought about what he said, that I'm the one who kills and I'm the one who make alive and I'm the one who wounds and I'm the one who heals. If Yah has to heal our disloyalty, that means that our disloyalty has caused us a wound. And this is the reason why we need to be healed. It's because we've been disloyal. I want to heal your disloyalty because your disloyalty is the wound. And therefore, because you're wounded, that means that in Hebrew, you have a wound, you have a defect in you. And if you got a defect, I'm not accepting you. So your verbal currency can cause Yah to decide to turn around and heal your wound. And if he heals your wound, then it won't be no longer disloyal. Your healing will cause you to be loyal to Yah. I will love them. Yes, freely. For my anger has turned from him. See the them and him, talking about the nation of Israel, one and the same. I will be like dew to Israel. That was in your Torah portion. Yah says he will be like dew, and he will blossom like a lily and strike roots like Lebanon, and his branches will spread out, and his beauty will be like the olive tree. You see, the olive tree, and his fragrance like Lebanon. And again, and again, and again, they will live in the shade and raise grain, and they will blossom like a vine, and its aroma will be like the wine of Lebanon. Put your device on mute. Thank you. So here it is. Put your device on mute. Thank you. The aroma is the fragrance. This fragrance and this aroma and this beauty and this blossoming and this spreading out in the love and the Lebanon and all these things are only going to happen when God puts our roots back into our promised land. He's not going to do this while you're in other people's land because you're in a different type of soil. The soil that you're in right now cannot accept these things. Your healing is not going to happen here. Your healing is going to be when you're back in your land. When he talks about spreading out, he's talking about your growth and your development, which is your life as a people, as a nation, not as an individual. As a nation, there's a certain aroma that Yah wants to smell from us. When he mentions Lebanon, all these different times, Lebanon, Lebanon, Lebanon. What he's talking about, everyone, is when you go to Lebanon, and you can look this up, in Lebanon, the trees are so fragrant that the moment that you step into the territory of Lebanon, you know you're there based on the aroma that you smell, based upon the fragrance, not just what you see with your eyes, not with the blossom like a lily, but the fragrance, the smell. So why is Yah using, if you notice, he's saying all these different things about the senses because he made the senses. So our senses come from our creator. Our creator smells. Our creator is living. Nothing that doesn't live can't smell. That's why he says, why you mess around with foolish idols? They can't see, they can't hear, they can't taste, they can't touch, they can't do any of these things. They can't give you the love that I want to give to you. They can't show that to you. And it's because of your perversion and your twistedness and you being contorted and torturous in your thinking that cause you to think that I'm like you and I'm not. I'm not going to change. You're going to change. I'm straight. You're crooked. Let's get straight. Verbal currency. Moshe said these words. These are the first words that he said in our Torah portion, Ha'azanu. Hear, O heavens, as I speak. Listen, earth, to the words from my mouth. My teaching will fall like rain. May my speech condense like dew, like rain on blades of grass, showers on growing plants. Verbal currency. So, what is the verbal currency? What cause us to come back and be these people? What is the dew that Yah just said? He just told us that I will be like dew to Israel. Moshe just said, right? That's salvation. Moshe just said, may my teaching fall like rain and my speech, which is his teaching, condense like dew. Do you not know that is the teaching of Moshe? Is the words that came from his mouth is like the in his speech that has come to do to us in the time that we're on right now, and not that we're growing like the lily, but he says just on blades of grass. We are in our beginning stages of being developed as a nation. And this is something that you and I should be excited about. If it wasn't for the teaching of the Torah, if it wasn't for the teaching that fall like rain, because again, the rain right here shares a root with the word Torah, meaning to point in a direction. If it wasn't like the rain comes down and it points in a certain direction, okay, sometimes it could go sideways and it goes to where it wants to go. Yah sends the rain to wherever he wants at different times and seasons. So what he's telling us is that the words that I'm giving you and the teachings that I'm giving you, my teachings are the Torah. And the Torah is what is falling like rain upon you and I right now. If it wasn't for the teaching, there would be no rain. If there's no rain, there is no development. There is no food. There is no life. You understand? So we need to be thankful for the teaching of Moshe and his words. And we need to honor that by what? By accepting the teaching and letting it fall on us like showers on growing plants and on blades of grass. And yes, we haven't blossomed. We haven't blossomed yet. We haven't. We're just a little grass right now. And Yah said, that's okay. Because when I pick you up and I return you back to your soil, then that's when you're going to be blossoming like a lily. And you're going to be beautiful. And you're no longer going to stink. You're actually going to be something, a pleasing aroma to me. You're no longer going to be contorted. You're no longer going to be twisted. You're no longer going to be a fool. You're not. Do I say Shabbat Shalom to you today? No, I don't. I say Shabbat Shalom. What's the difference? Well, if I wanted to, all I got to do is just, take this letter out of here and just change it to an O. That'd be Shalom. So Akika, why did you put Shalom? But still, if you get rid of the vowels right here, let me do something. Say I got rid of the vowels. So I got rid of that little vowel right there. Got rid of that vowel sound. I got rid of that vowel sound. All I would have is the letters of a shin, a lamed, and a mem. That's the word for shalom. That's the root for shalom, and it's the root for shalem. Okay. So shalem and shalom share the same root. One is shalom is peace, and meaning that you come to peace when you're made whole. That's what it's saying. When you say Shabbat Shalom, you're saying peace, be whole. That's what you're really saying. Be whole. Okay. I didn't say that to you today. I want you to be whole, but also too, I want you to do this. This means I need you to be made whole. That's why I say Shabbat Shalom to you, because I want you to be made whole. The other one is to be. I don't want you only to be, I want you to be made. Because when you're made whole, that's when you will have true peace. And that's when you're made whole. You're not whole. I need you to be made whole. I hope that today that this teaching made you whole in some way or another. I want you to, my cry and my tears is for real. I really feel the way I feel about everybody, about us as a nation. I can see Yah's heart. I can see how he feels about us as a people. I can clearly see it. And I'm not looking for anybody like, he's really serious. No, I just love the fact that Yah loves us. And I don't want you to look down on me because I'm not being emotional. I'm just telling you what it is. That's who I am, and I'm going to tell you the way it is. And if my emotions get in there and I start crying and I tell you what Yah is talking about, that's what it is. Because ain't nobody really, people don't care about us. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Nobody cares about what happens to you and I. They don't care. So I have to take this and I have to embrace it so I can understand it. So when I'm talking to you and I'm telling you this, it's because I want the changes that Yah wants for me, for all of us. I'm not being accusatory towards anybody. I'm letting you know this is what it is. We need to make changes. And we are the flock of Yah. And he's telling all of us the same thing, that we need to change. And we have to understand that perversion is in us. And if we deny that, Yah has to make us straight. And it's not an easy process, you know. Go to a garden that's been planted the wrong way, and you find out what everything has been done wrong, and this is in the wrong place, this is wrong, you got to tear everything up. And you got to start all over. And that's what happened to us. We've been reading the New Testament all of our lives, been raised doing this and that. Yah says, no. They made you feel so confident and so cocky that you don't even think nothing's wrong with you. Yah's looking for people that are broken so I can fix you. I can make you straight. So we don't need any of these teachers that are crying because of any other reason. I think my heart's broken because I see myself in the Torah. I see that I haven't been wise. I see I've been perverted, and I've been twisted, and I've been contorted. And I only have so much time left in my life, and I don't want to end my days like that. I want to live the way that the Creator designed us to live. That's what I want. I want to be straight. That's what I want. I want to be a reliable witness. That's what I want to be. And I want you guys to be the same. You know? So all praise be to Yahweh today.